Here are some things that all good readers remember. Predict what the book will be about. Ask yourself questions as you read. Try and work out difficult words. Listen to yourself as you read. Reread when you need to. Can you predict what this book is about? Click on a book feature to find out. Title. The title tells you what the book is about. What do you already know about this topic? Illustration. The illustration on the front of the book shows you something that is happening inside the book. What does this picture show you? Blurb. The blurb is on the back cover. It gives you some information about the book. What other information do you think you might find in the book? Table of contents. The table of contents is a list of the topics in the book.
Ancient Egypt by Claire Renner.
Click on the speaker on each page to hear the book read. If you get stuck, click on the Help button. If you are having trouble working out a word, try these strategies. Skip the word and read on to the end of the sentence. Can you guess what the word is now? Does it make sense and sound right? Look at the start of the word. What sound do you hear when you say the first letter? Can you sound out the first 2 or 3 letters? Look at the whole word. Are there any parts you can sound out? Break the word into syllables. Reread the whole sentence. Can you think of a word now that makes sense and sounds right?
Ancient Egypt by Claire Renner. Contents. About Ancient Egypt, page 3. Write it all down, page 4. Time past, page 6. Ancient Arts, page 8. Focus on Fashion, page 10. My Life in Ancient Egypt, page 12. Medicine, page 14. Building the Pyramids, page 16. The Mummy's Tomb, page 18. Find out more, page 20. Fun page, page 21. Quiz, page 22. Glossary, page 23. Index, page 24. About Ancient Egypt. Mummies, Pyramids and Pharaohs. Ancient Egypt is about all of these and much more. The ancient Egyptians built a great civilization. They led the way in science, maths and art. Many of their discoveries are still used today. Pharaohs, the rulers of ancient Egypt. Alexandria, Giza, Memphis, Amarna, Egypt, Luxor, Nile River. Did you know? The pharaohs owned land, made the laws, and controlled the armies.
The Nile is the longest river in the world.
Egypt is a hot, dry country in the northeast corner of Africa. The Nile River runs through the center of the country. Write it all down. One reason we know so much about the ancient Egyptians is because they invented their own writing. They used hieroglyphs to write down the details of their lives. They left written records on tomb walls, in temples, and on papyrus scrolls. Sheets of papyrus have been found that are over 3,000 years old. Papyrus scrolls, long sheets of thick paper made from the papyrus reeds. Hieroglyphs, pictures that stand for ideas, objects and sounds. Did you know? Sheets of paper were made from the papyrus reeds that grew along the Nile River. Watch out! There might be a Nile crocodile hiding in the papyrus reeds. The ancient Egyptians used over 700 hieroglyphs. The hieroglyphs were very complicated. Few people could read and write. Most people paid scribes to write things down for them. Fast facts. Being a scribe was an important job. Only men and boys could work as scribes. Scribes went to school for many years to learn all the hieroglyphs. Scribes kept tax records. Scribes recorded medical cases for doctors. Scribes kept records of crops and rainfall for farmers. Scribes wrote messages for people to give to friends and family. I'm glad there are only 26 letters in our alphabet. Can you work out what these hieroglyphs mean? Time passed. The ancient Egyptians began keeping a calendar over 5,000 years ago. The calendar was based on the flood times of the Nile River. The Egyptians knew the river flooded regularly. They divided the time between each flood into 3 seasons. Each season had 4 months. Akhet flood season. The Nile flooded and covered the land nearby with water and mud. Peret spring season. The farmers planted crops in the soft, wet soil. Shemu drought season. The farmers harvested crops as the land dried out. Crops wouldn't grow without the regular flooding of the Nile. Telling the time. The ancient Egyptians used sundials and obelisks to tell the time during the day. The shadow of the sundial's pointer is cast onto a plate marked with 12 divisions in the day. An obelisk is tall and pointed. Its shadow was used to tell the time. Ancient Egyptians also used water clocks. The earliest water clock was a stone pot with a small hole in the bottom. The pot was filled with water, which dripped out of the hole. As the water level dropped, marks could be seen on the inside of the pot. Each mark showed that another amount of time had passed. Water clocks were handy because they didn't need the sun to work. Ancient arts. The ancient Egyptians loved beautiful objects and art. Egyptian artists were nearly always men. They worked at sculpture, glassmaking, painting, pottery, and jewelry making. Everyone in ancient Egypt wore jewelry. Rich people wore necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and rings made from gold, silver, glass, and polished gemstones. Poor people wore pottery beads and rings. Jewelers also made good luck charms called amulets. This ancient Egyptian jewelry is made from gold and gemstones. Did you know? In ancient Egypt, potters used a wheel to shape pots and a kiln to fire them. People still make pottery in the same way. Making music. The ancient Egyptians loved music. They played flutes, clarinets, trumpets, and oboes. They also played cymbals, drums, and a stringed instrument like a harp. The musical instruments we play today developed from these early instruments. Egyptian people enjoyed singing too. They wrote songs for festivals, where thousands of people gathered. They also made up chants to sing while they were working. Chants. Simple tunes that are repeated, This ancient Egyptian rattle was used at festivals. Slaves played music at their owners' parties. We sing chants at school sports to cheer on our teams. Focus on fashion. In ancient Egypt, fashions stayed much the same for 3,000 years. People wore cool, comfortable clothes made of light linen. Women were in charge of spinning the flax and making the clothes. The ancient Egyptians always washed before getting dressed. They used soap made from vegetable and animal oils. Women used perfumed oils to stop their skin from drying out in the hot sun. Flax, a plant that was used to make linen. Thick hair was very fashionable in ancient Egypt. Men and women often wore wigs for important events. Wigs were made from human hair or sheep's wool. They were dyed black, blue, or red. Girls wore their hair in pigtails. Boys often had very short or shaved hair, except for one long lock of hair at the side. Ancient Egyptian women wore long, straight dresses. I'd rather wear pigtails than a thick wig. All Egyptians painted their faces. People bought coloured powder made from iron, copper, and lead. They mixed it with animal fats to make their own cosmetics. They used red powder for the cheeks, black powder to darken eyebrows and eyelashes, and to paint thick black lines around their eyes. Henna to make nails, lips, and hair red. Cosmetics, beauty products. Henna, a dye that comes from the leaves of the henna plant. Eye cosmetics often contained insect repellent, an antiseptic to help prevent eye infections. Did you know? Women sometimes wore wax cones on their heads. The wax was made of animal fat scented with spices. When the fat melted, it trickled through their hair and made it smell sweet. My life in ancient Egypt. Greetings, Nefertari. Seti is writing this for me. I am very happy you are going to marry him. I hope we will be friends, because I am 12 years old, just like you. My father says it will be my turn to marry soon. My mother says nobody will marry me if I don't learn to run the house properly. I would like to go to school like Seti. He will be able to work as a scribe soon, just like our father. Father has taught me some hieroglyphs and says I am quick to learn. Seti says the priests beat students who get their work wrong. I tell him I would work hard and not get my work wrong. But of course I can't go to school because I am a girl. So let me tell you what I do instead. Every day is much the same. When I get up, it is already hot, so I wash myself with cool water. We are lucky to have a bathroom. The servants bring water from the river and pour it over us. After prayers, we eat breakfast together. There is always fresh fruit, figs, grapes, or melon. I like to fill up on sweet, flat honey bread. During the day, my mother and I work with the servants. We clean the house and grind wheat into flour. This makes bread for the evening meal. We cook in a clay oven, which needs wood to keep going. We often go to the market so my mother can teach me about buying meat. She knows if it is fresh just by looking at it. Sometimes she pays money, and sometimes she barters. But she spends a long time talking to her friends. Then we have to rush home for my music lesson. After I have finished work, I sometimes escape for a swim with my friends. We have to watch for crocodiles, but it is worth it to cool off. In the evening, I like to play board games with my father. My favorite game is Dogs and Jackals. Sometimes I practice my drawing on bits of broken pottery. That's all I can tell you for now. I am looking forward to meeting you, Nefertari. Father has bought me a new gold armband to wear at the wedding. Your future sister, Nefret. Barter. Trades goods for other goods. Medicine. The ancient Egyptians knew a lot about the human body. They had to cut open dead bodies to mummify them. They understood that the heart pumped blood and that blood vessels carried blood around the body. Egyptian doctors were taught at the temples. Doctors set broken bones and filled teeth. They sometimes drilled holes in people's skulls to stop headaches. The ancient Egyptians did not have the drugs we have. People were awake during surgery. Mummify. Preserve a body for burial. Did you know? Ancient Egyptian doctors always washed their hands and put their instruments into the fire. This killed germs and stopped the spread of sickness.
Many ancient Egyptians were injured by hippos.
Natural medicine. The ancient Egyptians knew a lot about natural medicine. Many of their treatments are still used today. These include honey as an antibiotic, aloe vera jelly from the leaves of the aloe plant for burns, bites and skin problems, yeast for a sore stomach, massage to help pain. Some of the natural medicines were not so nice. Doctors made a paste from animals' blood and droppings to use on cuts. Antibiotic, a substance that kills germs. Jelly dripping from an aloe vera leaf. Scorpion stings and snake bites were common problems that ancient Egyptian doctors had to treat. Bees making honey. Building the pyramids. When you think of Egypt, it's hard not to think of the pyramids. That's because they are some of the world's most famous structures. The ancient Egyptians began building pyramids around 4,700 years ago. They were used as tombs for their pharaohs. One of the biggest pyramids is called the Great Pyramid. It took over 20 years to build. The Great Pyramid is 139 meters high. It is made up of more than 2 million blocks of stone. Each block weighs around 2,500 kilograms. That is more than the average car. It is hard to imagine building such huge pyramids without modern machinery. Did you know? We used to think the pyramids were built by slaves. Now we know that many of the builders were farmers. They worked on the pyramids during the flood season. Archaeologists have discovered that ancient Egyptians used chisels, drills, and saws to cut stone. These tools were made out of copper. They also used hammers made out of a hard rock called granite. Archaeologists have found old drawing tools and plumb lines as well. The Egyptians used these tools to check angles and keep lines straight as they built the pyramids. Archaeologists. People who study human history by looking at objects from the past. Drill. Plumb line. Ancient Egyptian tools. Ramps. Lever. Rollers. Pulley. A wheel with a grooved rim. used with a rope to lift heavy weights. The Egyptians used simple machines to build the pyramids. These included rollers, ramps, levers, and pulleys. The mummy's tomb. The ancient Egyptians thought that if their bodies did not decay when they were dead, they would be able to travel to the afterlife. A dead body that has been treated so it doesn't decay is called a mummy. In the very early days, the Egyptians buried their dead in the sand. The dry heat mummified the body naturally. However, when they began building tombs, the Egyptians had to embalm the bodies and wrap them in strips of cloth. The mummies of important or rich people were buried with food and wine. The tombs were also filled with gold, jewels, and art. The Egyptians thought the dead people would need these things when they reached the afterlife. Decay. To rot and fall apart. Did you know? The entrance to a tomb was hidden or blocked off. But this didn't stop grave robbers. They stole the treasures from most of the tombs and destroyed the mummies. Embalm. To treat a dead body with spices or chemicals to stop it decaying. The paintings on the walls of Egyptian tombs show us a lot about the way people lived. It took 70 days to mummify a body. Talking about Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun is one of the few Egyptian mummies to survive the grave robbers. He was pharaoh about 3,345 years ago. He died when he was only 18 years old. Tutankhamun's tomb was found in 1922 by an English archaeologist named Howard Carter. There were paintings and other objects in the tomb that explained a lot about the young pharaoh's life. Ancient Egyptians used to mummify cats too. Well, but I don't want to be a mummy. Tutankhamun's golden funeral mask is in the Cairo Museum. Find out more. Although ancient Egyptian culture died out 2,000 years ago, it has not disappeared. If you look around, you will see traces of it everywhere. Here are a few suggestions to help you find out more. Websites to get you started. Visit your school library and your local library. Museums often have a section devoted to ancient Egypt. Fun page.
Quiz. Click the box next to the correct answer.
1. What did an Egyptian scribe do? A. Designed pyramids. B. Embalmed bodies. C. Wrote things down for people. 2. Where did Egyptian women carry cones of wax? A. In a bag. B. On their heads. C. In their hands. 3. Who was Tutankhamun? A. A scribe. B. A doctor. C. A pharaoh. 4. What was papyrus made from? A. Flax plants. B. River reeds. C. Wood pulp. 5. During which season did the Nile flood every year? A. Parrot, B. Shemu, C. Akhet. 6. What were pyramids used as? A. Temples, B. Schools, C. Tombs. 7. Why did the Egyptians mummify their dead? A. To protect the environment, B. To allow the dead person to travel to the afterlife, C. So they didn't smell. 8. Where is Egypt? A. In Africa, B. In Spain, C. In India. 9. What is the longest river in the world? A. The Rhine, B. The Murray, C. The Nile. 10. Who built the pyramids? A. Slaves and farmers, B. Tutankhamun, C. Archaeologists.
Now check your answers.
Glossary. Antibiotic, a substance that kills germs. Archaeologists, people who study human history by looking at objects from the past. Barter, trades goods for other goods. Chants, simple tunes that are repeated. Cosmetics, beauty products. Decay, to rot and fall apart. Embalm, to treat a dead body with spices or chemicals to stop it decaying. Flax, a plant that was used to make linen. Henna, a dye that comes from the leaves of the henna plant. Hieroglyphs, pictures that stand for ideas, objects and sounds. Mummify, preserve a body for burial. Papyrus scrolls, long sheets of thick paper made from the papyrus reeds. Pharaohs, the rulers of ancient Egypt. Pulley, a wheel with a grooved rim, used with a rope to lift heavy weights. Index.
Word sorter. Click Start. A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. The letter E has a short sound in pet and a long sound in B. Does the vowel E in these words make a short or long sound? Sort them out. Drag the correct word into the space, then click on Well done. Drag the next word. Good try. This word goes in this box. Great work. Drag the next word. Fantastic. Drag the next. Great work. Drag the next. Great work. Drag the next word. Good try. This word goes in this box. Well done. Drag the next word. Good try. This word goes in this box. Fantastic. Drag the next word. Good try. This word goes in this. Fantastic. Drag the next word. Well done. Drag the next word. Great. You sorted all the words. You are really good at sorting out words. Click on Print or click Next to finish. Missing words. Here is a page from the book with some of the words missing. You can put them back. Click on Start. Drag the correct word into the space, then click on Check It. That's great. Try the next word. Try again. Fantastic. Try the next word. Fantastic. Try the next word. Brilliant. Try the next word. That's great. They're all done. Click on Print to print your missing words page, or click Next to finish. Let's do a crossword puzzle using words from the book. A crossword is a fun way of thinking about the meaning of different words. Click on Start. Type the letters to make the word in the clue, then click on Check It. Click Delete to delete a letter. Click Clear to delete a word. That's great. Well done. Brilliant. That's great. Brilliant. That's great. That's great. Congratulations! You have finished the crossword. Click on Print to print your crossword, or click Next to finish.